So, folks, I've got with me a very interesting gentleman.
I'm also interested.
His name is Raoul Bhaneja. And if you've never met the man, you're missing out on so many good things about him. He's a pioneer blues artist in regards to harmonica. He also sings. He also acts, which is something that I completely didn't know about until I did deep dive into IMDb. So the fact that I'm doing this is because you're a big Star Trek fan, and you now have a face that actually will mark you for the rest of your years. So, Raoul, take us back a bit. When did you start? I know your musical career came kind of first, but you also went to study acting at one point. So, which came first? Was it music, or was it acting, or was it a bit of both?
They actually kind of started around the same time. I really got my interest in becoming possibly a professional performer came when I was a student at an arts high school in Ottawa.
Okay.
Called Canterbury Arts. Canterbury is still going. It's an arts high school. And so when I was a student there, I had that thing where I was studying drama, but I was surrounded by musicians all the time. So I had friends who had bands and all these things. And, when you're young, you don't know any better. You're like, well, if he has a band, I can have a band. Sure. And that's also when I met my friend, guitar player Mark Rankin, who's now playing in Vancouver. He's got a band called the Mojo Stars. He's also a documentarian. He made this great movie about Mississippi's blues artist who I introduced him to, Super Chicken, but that's another story. So I started a band with Mark when I was in high school. Then I went to study acting at the National Theatre School of Canada in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I left that, I moved to Toronto. And I had been an unemployed actor for a couple months, and I was getting very frustrated. So I started going to all the blues jams around town, which I had done as a kid growing up in Ottawa. I used to go to the blues jams. That's where I learned about blues, was in Ottawa. And I met my guitar player, Darren Gallen, there. And then we formally started Raoul in the Big Time 28 years ago. And then Tom Bona, our drummer, joined us, within a couple months. Mm-hmm. So the three of us have played together for 28 years. And all during that time, I've had kind of the dual careers of musician and actor. So when you say you didn't know I was an actor, when I came to you in 2015 and I performed a whole play called Light, Death, and the Blues that I had written.
Yeah.
And you knew I was an actor. What you mean is you didn't know I was an actor on TV or in movies.
Yes, exactly.
You beat me. Yeah. So, I've been doing both things for probably as long. My first TV job in Canada was a TV show called The Newsroom, which I did 30 years ago last month. So I've really been doing both things since I can remember, pretty much. Definitely as a teenager. Since I became a teenager, I was playing music or acting pretty much all the time, and I've been fortunate that that's kind of how I've made my living all these years.
Yeah, the funny thing is that when you mentioned Super Chicken, I remember having my interview with him during the Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival. We went behind the barracks, and he was hiding a cigarette at the time.
Yeah.
Because he did one on camera because he said, "I do it for the kids, and this is not a good idea."
Exactly, that's the kind of guy he is. He's a badass blues man, but he's very conscious of what message he's sending.
Yeah.
So he's it's a beautiful documentary.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
It's available on Amazon Prime and other places. It's I think it's called Super Chicken: A Life in the Blues.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to actually.
And the filmmaker's Mark Rankin. He's one of the two filmmakers,
okay.
And it's also a great portrait of modern Clarksdale, Mississippi today. You know, it's great if you've never had a chance to go down there. It really gives you kind of a feel of what Mississippi's like today. You know, which is different from, you know, whether you watch Sinners or you've seen documentaries. You know, we can have this idea about Mississippi, and of course that's how it once was, and its roots are. There's a lot of similar things in its roots, but of course it's part of the modern world now.
Speaking of the modern world, you're part of that now. I mean, you basically IMDb has you doing so many films, so many shows, and now the Star Trek Academy, Starfleet Academy.
Starfleet Academy. Yeah.
I watched only. I'm behind because I didn't watch all the episodes, but the episode that struck me with the best iconic moment was when Holly Hunter's character goes up to you with no shoes, barefoot, and her character says, "Oh, I just have to leave my footsies."
Little piggies out. Yeah, get the piggies
and
out.
Your character, which is a commander in charge of the war
College,
academy,
College,
because of for those that know Star Trek, folks, his character comes full tilt to be the leader in after the burn occurred, and Starfleet Academy came back online because they have to redo everything. And Holly Hunter's character is a species that lives very long. If I remember correctly, she said that she's 500 years old.
Yeah, I think she's 600, something like that.
Yeah. And then your character was standing like maybe a foot and a half to 2 feet in difference, and you were looking down. You have no shoes.
Yeah, Kelrick is a character who does things by the book, and this new captain and new co-chancellor of the school shows up, and it completely freaks him out. It's not the way he was trained. It's not what he believes. But like anybody who gets a new coworker, you've got to find a way to make it work. So a lot of season 1 is about our two characters finding a way to eventually agree to disagree, but it starts pretty acrimoniously.
I remember the tea ceremony where she didn't really want to stay and drink tea. She took off and left. Now, one question I have for you: you've got so much gravitas in regards to you being an actual actor, and you're recognized in your field, both in music and in acting. Mm-hmm. How did you actually come across this opportunity? Did someone call out for you, or did you submit a request to audition?
Well, in the world of TV and film, generally, you have to have an agent as an actor, because really there's no access to most significant unionized projects without an agent who's a casting director generally puts out a call saying, we're looking for these roles. Sometimes it's geographic, like we're looking for these roles. This is shooting in Toronto. We'll hire people from anywhere in the world. Or, it's shooting in Montreal and we're only going to hire people from Montreal, or they have to be Canadians. There's always these different kind of rules. Yeah. And so in this case, most of the modern Star Trek franchise that started under Alex Kurtzman in 2016, 2017, with the exception of Picard, the rest of modern Star Trek has been shot in Canada, and it's been shot in Toronto. Okay. So there has been opportunities for different Canadian actors at points to get in on and do different things on the show. Some parts have been very small, some parts have been more significant. And I had worked for the showrunner, creator, Alex Kurtzman, on a previous show on CBS called Clarice, which was a spin-off of Silence of the Lambs. It only lasted one season. We shot it during COVID. And so he got familiar with my work, and I did 7 episodes of that season. So I was lucky in that, when the opportunity came when my agent sent me this and I auditioned for it, I had the opportunity at least to reach out to him and say, oh, hey, just sending you a little email. I've auditioned for your show. I'd love to be in it. And then I didn't hear anything for a while, and I thought, okay, whatever. And then I got a call saying, day after tomorrow, you got a Zoom call back with Holly Hunter. Good luck. And I was like, whoa! So I had to kick into high gear and do my preparation and get ready. And then I got on the Zoom, and, you know, I knew it was a big deal. I was already going to be a big deal because it was with Alex and
Holly.
And Holly. And then when I opened up the Zoom, it was that thing where you first go on a Zoom and there's like 40 windows. Like, there were tons of people on the Zoom. And then I was like, uh-oh, this is the real thing. This is the real thing. Because these people, not this many people would be watching if it wasn't down to like the final few people for this part.
Okay.
And you're not going to get Holly Hunter to read for 5 hours with 50 different people. They're only going to ask her to help choose and work with, you know, maybe the final 4 or 5 people they're thinking of. So after a long process after that of like not hearing anything, I work on another show in Canada called The Trades, which is on Crave, a comedy, which is a hilarious show. We shoot mainly in Nova Scotia and a little bit in Hamilton with Rob Wells from the Trailer Park Boys. Mm-hmm. I had to tell them whether I was going to be available or not. So at one point I basically had to say to Star Trek, like, you guys have to make up your mind because I couldn't lose my other job waiting for this job.
Yeah.
And so at the last possible minute, my agent called me and said, okay, they're going to offer it to you on Monday. And I was like, wow, okay, this is going to happen. And then I was very lucky that the last 2 seasons of Star Trek and the last 2 seasons of The Trades, I've been able, it's been a bit crazy, but I've been able to work on both shows going back and forth between Halifax and Toronto or Toronto and Hamilton. So,
okay.
So yeah, I was super lucky, but you could argue it came kind of the traditional way for an actor, which is that you put an audition on tape in your kitchen. Nowadays, you barely ever go into a room after COVID. You know, they got rid of a lot of in-person auditions, and now it's cheaper for us to do it at home than for them to rent a place and have an actor and have a reader and have a cameraman and woman. And so actors all over the world basically set up their phones like this and do auditions.
Which is good.
And, you know, which is cool. But, you know, most auditions you never hear anything back from. You know, you don't, most things you audition for, you don't get. So the fact that this is one of the ones that went through and the fact that I, you know, wasn't just on 1 episode, I was on 5 episodes of the 10 in season 1, and I'm in season 2 as well, which will come out in about a year. You know, it's been a great opportunity. And I'm just at the beginning of seeing, you know, what will it mean? Will it mean conventions? Will it mean... you know, I'm doing a lot of interviews and podcasts this month because I have a little more time. But, you know, we'll sort of see how that all plays out.
I can see.
Happens.
Yeah, but I can see you going to conventions, especially like the fan con and the whole. There's conventions that are centered around Star Trek, Star Wars.
Yes, there's a big one in this year. There's it's a particularly big edition, STLV, so Star Trek Las Vegas in August. It's also, this is a big year for Star Trek, too, because it's celebrating its 60th anniversary as a franchise, you know? So it's even kind of a bigger year to be involved in something new that's involved with Star Trek because it's a big anniversary year. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. You know, I right now it's been just an amazing job, and, you know, we'll see how the rest of it plays out. We're waiting to hear if we get a season 3. Nobody knows yet, so
I think
if I go back to work, it'll be in the new year, and we'll see what happens.
I think so, because right now, myself, I've watched every single episode of I think it's Star Trek Explorer. I think it's
Discovery, you mean?
Thank you.
Discovery,
Discovery had one of the most twisted timelines when it came to it. Picard, the same thing. And then
have you watched some Strange New Worlds as well?
Yes. But it's so much that I right now things are kind of meshed together where no, it's true because I'm trying to watch it based on the release dates and the release times. And unfortunately, a lot of it, because it's on Paramount, I have to take time to actually sit down and make sure no one wants to watch TV or watch a ball game or watch hockey. And sit down and just do a whole sweep. Like, I remember a lot of the storyline from Discovery, but I can't remember if I saw the last season that they shot. And Picard, well, I'm lost in Picard land. Apparently, I missed something somewhere. And then And then
it's a huge amount of episodes.
And then Strange New Worlds is even better. It was better than I expected, but I still haven't gotten the chance to actually sit down and watch them. I'm gonna have to rewatch them because there's a lot of details that I've missed.
Sure. Well, for me, like, I hadn't watched a lot of new Trek, like, of this new iteration. I'd seen the movies, but I hadn't seen any of the new TV series yet. And so for me, when I got cast, I knew our story was going to pick up kind of where Discovery left. So in about 2.5 weeks, I binged all of Discovery. I watched every episode of Discovery. That was my actor research, you know.
Well, to put your character
good,
into,
because it helped me understand the style of the show, but also got me caught up on some of the history. Because we're in the 32nd century, I needed to kind of get as much of a grip on what was going on, and I knew we'd have a few characters carrying over, like Tig Notaro, who plays Jet Reno, Oded Fair, who plays Admiral Vance. Those were characters from Discovery that were moving into our show. So it was good for me to find out kind of more about their stories and figure out what was going on.
Which is good. Because I know in Discovery they made forays in timelines that made past episodes and of Voyager and Star Trek Next Generation look like child's play.
Right.
But
yeah, we jump. I mean, in Discovery, they do jump 800 years into the future, right?
Yep.
So by doing that, I mean, it puts our show in a totally different time of the previous shows, which in some ways I think for me has been good because it's liberated us from having to talk about Spock and Kirk in the same way that you would if it was in that period, and that's fine. But I just think it's good to have some variety. I'm sure there'll be a lot more shows made in the future that have, you know, some of those core characters, Picard and Spock and Riker, and, you know, those characters we all love. But I think it's, you want to be careful with a franchise not to be completely captured by nostalgia, you know? You want to also be seeing, can we create any ways to create new mythologies and new stories? And that's kind of what our show's about. Okay. We're still making references to the past. We've got Robert Picardo, speaking of Voyager, who played the Doctor in Voyager. He's joining us in this series. So we have our bridge character. We have our incredible character who takes us from one series into the next, and a, you know, legendary actor too.
Yeah.
So, and you know, Bob's a big singer. Bob has sang 2 times with Raoul in the Big Time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you go on my Instagram, you'll see a clip of us doing the Tin Pan Alley classic Blues in the Dark with Bob singing with the band. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So, the acting aside and the fact that you're a fabulous Canadian, I know that you've been traveling quite a lot between the States, Canada, and with the trades, Nova Scotia and Ontario, but do you have to travel so much? I mean, I know a lot of the details for the new show is in Ontario, but do you actually have to leave the province for that, or is it for other projects that you're involved in?
I'm kind of, you know, Star Trek has been exclusively in Toronto for me, which has been great because it's where my kids and my wife are, so I haven't had to travel. I mean, had this been made in Romania, I would be sitting in Romania right now. You know, that's how it goes. You have to, in the actor's line of work, and basically in the performer's line of work, I mean, the road is your home. You got to go where the work is.
Okay. So
to have an amazing job like this, that's, you know, a 9-minute drive to the studio from my house, I don't take that for granted.
Oh, wow.
So, but yeah, traveling's a big part. You know, I have got a concert coming up this weekend where we're doing songs of Chet Baker and Nat King Cole. And I read a quote of Chet Baker where he said his life was 1/3 car, 1/3 stage, 1/3 asleep. He did a lot of heroin in between. But I'm also saying that, you know, in some ways I read that and thought, yeah, you know, that describes a lot of performers. A lot of performers, we're away, we're on the road a fair amount. So yeah, I've traveled around. I got a chance to do a gig. I was in England this summer, and I got to do a show in London, which was really cool because I got to play at this blues club I've popped in and out of over the years, but I got to kind of do my own night there with these great musicians from London, England. I did that in July. That was amazing. Big Time still playing. We just did our 28th anniversary show at Hughes Room. I started a duo. That's what the show, the Nat King Cole show is. In 2018, I started a jazz duo with Jesse Whiteley, the great piano player, who also plays in the big time.
Did you say
Now,
Jesse Whiteley?
Jesse Whiteley.
Yeah, okay.
Son of Chris, nephew of
Yes,
him.
and I met him. I met him over at Halifax. He was playing with. She's a drummer.
24th Street Whalers, probably back in the day.
Yeah, the drummer is the lead singer.
Yeah, Lindsay Bieber. When Lindsay was in the 24th Street Whalers, he was with her.
Yeah, and I met him, and he said, "My name is Whiteley," and I went, "Wait, you're Chris Whiteley's son, aren't you?"
Yeah, that's it. He's a great musician. And so we started this jazz duo together where we're called Blue Standard.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a very different kind of show that we do. We do songs inspired by, we pick songs inspired by the recordings of Joe Williams, Chet Baker, Nat King Cole, and all these guys. And we perform that as a duo, a vocal duo, basically like it's piano and voice and a little bit of harmonica. And so that's been a really fun alternate project to the big time that we've done. So I'm doing a little bit of everything, man, and I just like to keep busy. I've got a cold right now, so I'm not feeling 100%.
That's okay. It's not my cold.
I think, my last 3 days on Star Trek that I had to shoot toward the end of the season, each one of them ended at 4 a.m. So I was like, I'm too old for this, man. That's like doing 3-nighters in the bars in the old days, like back to back to back. I was like, whew. So I think I thought I dodged getting sick, and then just at the last minute, I picked up my son's cold. So I'm kind of pulling along right now. But,
well, the only thing that I'd recommend is give yourself teas, but you do it this way: unpasteurized honey, raw, lemon juice, and ginger root, fresh ginger root, or as fresh as possible. And then you cut your ginger root, you boil it for as long as you want. Really, it's to steep out the actual ginger. And then in the mug, you put your honey, you put your ginger, and you mix in lemon to your taste. For me, it does marvel for the throat, especially if you've got a sore throat, and it also helps with clearing out. Well, because it's a hot liquid, it helps clearing out the mucus, and it keeps you somewhat alive. And then I drink tons of orange juice, or eat mandarin oranges, or whatever is available as a citrus, and just stuff my face. It does the trick. It gives me the boost without killing me. But if you've got a cold and you have a fever, it doesn't really do much until the fever breaks. But it helps. Yeah. No, I'm almost through it. It's just that I haven't quite got my energy back yet. So you don't look tired. So you're the ultimate threat to talent. I mean, you've got three things going for you. You've got projects on the go. You've got acting. You're still doing music, which I'm quite happy to hear, because that was the big draw for me, was actually meeting you originally for, your play that you were presenting, but the fact that you were also a bona fide, certified, and identified musician in the community that you were in. Mm-hmm. But this acting thing is just supernatural. I'm so happy that you're part of it. Now, with everything that you're doing, I'm afraid of asking this question. Do you even have time for pastimes? Well, it's funny, when you were talking about having to bargain for television time. I don't watch a lot of TV, to be honest. Okay. It's fairly busy just trying to promote my shows and on social media, trying to connect and get people to come to this show next week or this show the week after, or watch this TV show. But as the spring and summer comes, watching and attending the Blue Jays, I live about 10 minutes, 15-minute drive from Rogers Center, which I'm super lucky about. So Blue Jays I've always been a Blue Jays fan. First I was an Expos fan because I grew up in Ottawa.
but by the late 80s, early 90s, and of course those incredible World Series runs in the 90s, I became a Blue Jays fan. And then I moved to Toronto the year of the strike in 1994. And I endured so many years of sort of mediocre Blue Jays non-championship baseball. And 2015, 16, amazing. Last year I got to go to a World Series game, which was, we lost, but I didn't care. I couldn't believe in my lifetime, I was attending a Blue Jays game in person that was part of the World Series. Incredible. So yeah, I'd say Blue Jays is my main thing that takes up my time. The rest of the time, I'm just trying to keep the old machine working.
Yeah, you should connect with my wife. She has her own business. She's a writer, but she's a bigger Blue Jays fan than I actually thought that she would be. She's got the hat, she's got the jerseys, she's got the earrings.
I love it.
And right now we're watching the I think it's baseball classics.
WBC, man. Friday night we got this Friday we've got Canada versus USA. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah, Italy versus Cuba. Really, we were hoping that one of them would actually have better. Cuba had to win to stop the U.S. from going into the quarterfinals. Right. Unfortunately, that's what we have now. So yeah, no, she's watching it every night. I don't mind because I actually enjoy some of the action. We've got our own team here in Moncton, New Brunswick for.
Yes, right.
She watches that. Right now she's big in hockey because of everything that's happening right now. But yeah, no, you and her have that passion for the Blue Jays, and I live vicariously through her passion. So,
but that's it for me, man. The rest of the time I'm trying to look after my kids and keep my wife happy. The basic things a man does. They're pretty basic that way. And also, it takes a lot of time. Getting ready for gigs, and we're trying to do sort of special events and other kind of interesting shows. Like we're learning new material for the show on Sunday, which I love doing. It just takes a bit of time, and because as an actor, you don't get most auditions. You do spend quite a bit. If you're lucky, you're auditioning, so you spend quite a lot of time preparing. And I do some voice work too, so there's voice auditions as well. As a Canadian artist, man, you kind of have to. You got to kind of do everything to survive. It's just how it is. If you don't have another day job full-time or another really well-paying part-time job, if you make your living as a performer exclusively, which I do, you're just running around all the time making a living doing all kinds of different things. That's just how it goes.
Well, I know that you're a lucky man for the fact that you've got a family that supports your work.
Yeah.
As much as
my wife's an actor too, right? So we get each other's craziness, but it also means that sometimes we look in the cupboard and we go, wow, neither of us have worked for a while. There's not a lot here.
Oh dear. Mr. Noodles comes out, Kraft Dinner comes out.
Yeah, we've been lucky, we've been lucky. We're very fortunate that we're in it so long and that we're still in it. But yeah, it's not a life I would recommend to anybody unless they were desperate to do it.
Okay. Now, the fact that you've got a family means that your children are probably in their teens.
I have my eldest daughter. My daughter is 20, and my son is 16.
Oh wow. Okay, so young adult and young elder teen. So that means that you met your beloved. Probably.
Long time ago.
I'm just trying to judge. So 20, yeah, well, I'd say 20 years ago. So we're 26. So that means 2006. Probably in the 2000s. You probably dated before that.
I got married in 1999.
1999. Felicitations.
Thank you. Turn of the century. I can say I was married in the last century.
Oh yeah, and how long were you with your current missus prior to marriage?
We dated for almost 7 years.
Wow.
So we've been together for 30 plus years at this point.
And you say that she's an actress as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
She's in a play right now. in Hamilton, Ontario at Theatre Aquarius. She's doing a very great production. She's in of Murder on the Orient Express. Old Agatha Christie.
Nice.
Yeah, she's having a great time doing that. I just saw her. She just opened 10 days ago, so I
Oh,
saw her.
wow.
She was great. So, yeah, I mean, now that our kids are a little older, it's a little easier for
Yeah.
her to be out of town and be away.
Okay.
You know, we've always had to kind of balance that. If she was going away, I'd be at home, of course. If I,
And vice versa. If you were going away, she'd stay at home.
Yeah, so I owe her. I owe her quite a few shows out of town. Let's put it that way.
The last question I've got for you
Sure.
is one that I've been asking every single artist that I've interviewed. It's a weird one, but what's your favorite food dish? Now, before you answer, imagine that I'm giving you a buffet table full of various foods, but one particular food is the one that you'll pick, and you'll pick more than once in your life if you can get it.
It has to be well made, and it's not something I would prepare because it has to be prepared in the correct traditional way.
Okay.
But it would be tandoori chicken. North Indian style tandoori chicken. That is good. Tandoori chicken cannot be beat. I've tried it everywhere. Any Indian restaurant that has it, I try it. It's like my test, particularly if it's North Indian cuisine, because it's kind of tandoori is kind of a North Indian thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of where my ancestors on my dad's side were North Indians on that side. So, yeah. Tandoori chicken, buddy. That's it. That's simple.
I've tried it once, and it was done by my stepson upstairs through a recipe that he got.
Okay.
I liked it very much, but he gobbled everything up. We had only like a small portion to actually savor, but it was something that I actually enjoyed seeing him make. It smelled tremendously good, and it tasted fantastic, but probably not the way that your taste buds actually fly off.
If I find one I can recommend for you in the Moncton area, I'm gonna send it to you and say, I've heard this is the one, and you're gonna go to it sometime with your wife on a nice date when you can treat yourselves, when you got a few bucks saved up for a nice night out. I'm gonna send you to a good Moncton North Indian tandoori recommended restaurant.
I'll take it whenever you find one. So, Raoul, is there anything that you'd like to say before we finish the interview? Is there anything that you need to promote? Is there a website that we can visit? I'm assuming.
Yeah, the easiest place to find me these days, and that's kind of where I'm trying to put a lot of information about upcoming shows and dates in different parts of Canada or anywhere else, is my Instagram, which is just, at my name, RaoulBhaneja. So that's, and if you're on Facebook, you can also go to the Raoul and the Big Time Facebook page. Those are two places where you can find out pretty much everything I'm doing. And final episode of Starfleet Academy is out this week. Next week, on Thursday, which would be the 19th of March, I have a nice guest star on an upcoming episode of Law and Order Toronto, which was really fun to do. And then the next night, Friday, we kick off season 3 of The Trades on Crave. So it's a crazy month, man. I got everything coming out of the
I know, but the we started watching Law and Order Toronto, and I remember you're in the first episode, and I turned to my wife and I go, "That's Raoul." That's Raoul Bhaneja.
I'm in the first episode, the season 1 promo. But my actual episode is number 3.
Number 3? Okay. Well, I can't wait to actually watch it, because we started watching it, but time factor and everything.
Oh, sure. There's so many shows. I mean, that's why I wish, for someone who works in TV, I should be able to opine on all the shows and series. And man, I barely see any of them. If I'm on them, I watch them. If I'm auditioning for one, I'll watch a couple episodes so I can get up to speed.
Yeah.
But man, there's no way. There's literally a bazillion TV series out there. So if you're a Trekkie, you watch Trek. If you like Taylor Sheridan stuff, you watch Landman or Yellowstone. Everybody has their thing.
Yeah. Right now, for us, it's what is it? Criminal Mind? No, it's
Yes.
not Criminal Mind. It's the one with Mick, the doctor that played in. The actor played the doctor at one point. in one of the series, and now he's playing a hitman. And like Mind of a Criminal, Mind of a Hitman, I think. His brother has dementia, and his character's starting to develop the tendencies. The Pit. And there's another one that we're watching, but I can't remember the name. But The Pit tonight is special because an actual medical device created in Canada, I think it was even in the Maritimes, they are putting it on the show. And apparently it's a device to prevent either hand injuries or finger injuries. I don't know the details. Unfortunately, I only caught it in passing, but it's going to be on tonight. So that said, though, I need you to rest.
Yes, I got to go see a show tonight. My friend is doing a comedy show.
Oh, nice.
He just came through you part of the country. It was called A Perfectly Reasonable Night of Comedy. Peter Oldring, Pat Kelly, and Carolyn Taylor.
Well, go enjoy it then. I'm gonna let you go so you can.
But I'm gonna lie down for a bit first.
Yeah, I'm going to let you go, and thank you so much for doing this, Raoul.
Right.
It's always a pleasure whenever I get to see you or hear about you. But you are fantastic.
Thank you, buddy. I hope to be out your way again with the big time before long.
I hope so, because I'm missing some big time blues.
Yeah, baby, that's it. Great to chat, man. Thank you so much.
See you.